Ah, hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, now let me see if I can get on here. Ah, ah. Sean Harper's here. I don't know if you can see him. He's there. And my name is Anya Bucker. Together, we are the Flying Harper. And today is day 30 of From Here to Jerusalem. We left 30 days ago from Clonakilty in West Cork to walk to Jerusalem. Yeah. And today we have arrived in, what is that? That doesn't look good. Oh no, that's fine. And today we have arrived in Greg Namana. I can say it. And not only can I say it, we have actually arrived here. Now, I was told to speak up. And I thought I would be outside here with nowhere to go, nowhere to stay. And here I am. I'm inside and I've got a bed. Oh, how did that happen? I'll tell you. Now, if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to have updates for when I go live, like right now, around 10 o'clock in the evening, or 9 o'clock in the morning, or 12 at noon, or whenever I find time, then you hit the bell and you get a bing to tell you that we've gone live. I like doing live videos. I'm not looking at the camera anymore. Like, I'm not looking at the actual screen, so I can't see your messages as they come up. But I do want to hear how you're getting on and what you're thinking, and that you're here and that you watch me, and that we are on this journey. That you're on this journey with me. Let me see. Am I good? Yeah, I'm good. So, how did I get to Greg Namana? So yesterday I had another day off. I get loads of days off on this trip because that was one of the shortcomings that I had when I walked to Santiago de Compostela in 2010 and when I walked to Rome, definitely in 2018. Yeah, I was in the forestry today and I got bitten again. There's another one in my neck and I'm going to go do something about it now. So, yes, yesterday I was in the yoga bar, and between Waterford and here, and I would really, really recommend that if you ever go to County Kilkenny, just outside of Waterford, between Inistioge, Greg side, and Waterford, if you take the back road, then you should, and there is something on, there is a yoga retreat on in the yoga barn. I can highly recommend that you go there. It was like, I called Hillary to ask would she have a corner for me to hang the hammock, and I said, I know it's a really weird request, but I'm a pilgrim to Jerusalem, and can I hang my hammock? And she went like, harp player? Really? Okay. Well, my mom was a harp player. Yeah, come and be here. And then when I arrived there 2 days ago, she was already in class. She teaches classes there in the morning and in the evenings normally, and then in the weekends, they have retreat. Oh, I'm sorry, it's late, so I'm also going to put some oil on my feet in the meantime. I'm going to have a drink of water first. Am I? Yes, because it's been a long day. And she had already started class, and Tim, her husband, came to pick me up and show me where I was staying. And he was telling me that they've been working on this place for 18 years. It was an old, like, stone village, and it has connections to the Carrickfergus uprising. Um, so it became so they were th- th- those stone villages were built to support the big houses around those areas. Like I lived in Dunworthy in a set of cottages like that, uh, where they were basically working the land, and they had very little space for themselves, but they were in service. Uh, and this was a grouping of 4 houses and a few barns and other things, other outhouses that that would have served the English houses around, the English lords around. And then in 1902, they became uh, they came into ownership of Irish people. So, and Tim was telling me that this was one of those places, and it's all the original old Irish stonework. And they started to teach yoga there. They did up the barn first, and they started working. And over a period of 18 years, they have done up all the houses there. And they, during the pandemic, they created a new barn, a new extension. There is a maze. Oh, so a mindfulness maze which you can walk, which I did, and I played in the middle of it, and it was just wonderful. It was wonderful. The space was really big. They ran it as an Airbnb for a while as well, and he was saying to me that was the most ungrateful thing they ever did. Like, it was just, it wasn't for them at all, because, like, I don't know how anybody could give these people like a bad review, even if there was nothing there. It would be wonderful to be there. And it's literally like in a little like dip in the valley, and it has this stunning view towards the village, which is just up from there. And it's all the old stonework. Like, I remember as a kid, we had one of those. My mother bought one of those cottages past the old fort in Kinsale, and the stonework is just amazing. Like, this is all like local stone, and it's all dry stone walls, and it's been standing there for God knows how long. It's just beautiful. So he's been working away on this while Hillary was teaching and raising kids. And two of his sons live there now as well. One with the kids, and one is, he didn't tell me too much. And then they run yoga retreats there. So, if you're a yoga teacher, go check it out. Like, if you want to do a retreat, there is space for 10 people, and they're working on more space. There is the maze. They're working on, there's a hot tub and sauna. And I mean, it is like, you can have a really good time there. And it's really, there is a farm. There's a farm next door. There's a stud as well. But it's just one of those magical places. He left a good few of the old trees as well on the premises. Like, the house that I was staying in, it had a mezzanine. Uh, there there is like day beds. There is a fully working kitchen. It was just like, yeah. And he said, well, do you know what? If you want to stay longer, by all means, stay longer, sit around, rest. And I said, is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can help with? And he was like, no, no. He had just been operated um, he'd just been operated on his teeth. and he was saying he was taking it slow himself. He was watering the trees. He had planted 100 trees in the year that his father would have turned 100, and he had to water those. And I got visited by chickens, and I when I arrived, then at the end of the class, I played for Shavasana, and that was it. Like, they didn't want anything else in return. I could just be there. I had a perfectly beautiful made up bed waiting for me. I could take a shower downstairs. It was just wonderful. And then I really didn't see them anymore. They just left me there to be and exist. And it was funny because the day before I had been saying, like, oh, I could really do with a day with seeing nobody. So what I did is I learned how to make TikToks. Like, I was working on TikToks, and I got removed by Instagram. Instagram removed one of my videos because it said I had taken music that wasn't, like, it was all public music from TikTok. So I don't know how they got there. And I spent the day, like, with the chickens and the birds and in the maze and playing music and making TikToks and uh, catching up a little bit on social media, and did a good nice update. So, and then this morning I felt like I really should go. It was time to go. Like, it was time to move on, because it was too easy to just sit there and go, like, yeah, let's stay here for the weekend, and Jerusalem can wait. And also, the weather forecast hasn't been great. Like, and I've been very lucky. Like, up to now, I've had very, very, very good weather. Apart from my little escapade out on Musher Mountain where I got really wet, uh, there hasn't been a lot of rain. So I was thinking, now this is too easy. Time to move on, because otherwise I'm gonna be like, I'm just stuck, and it's better if I keep moving. So I took the plunge. I did my little ritual in the morning. Oh yeah, what I didn't tell you is the other day on the Greenway, like, I have the little ritual, right, where I ask every day. I say what I'm grateful for, and then I ask for what I need for that day. Um, Now, I'm being criticized that I started it as a little ritual where I was saying it to St. James, St. James, please help me, and please help me achieve this, and please give me that, and I'm thank you, St. James, for this, that, and the other. And one of the pieces of feedback that I got on that was that, especially for religious people, they were going, like, no, if you're going to use a saint, if you're going to be talking to a saint, you should be talking to Christ. And I've been thinking, like, yeah, no, like, this was the discussion I used to have with Michel on the way to Rome. He was saying he was into the word of Christ, and I was saying, like, I do think there is something more out there than just us, but do I really want to name it? I'm not sure I'm ready for that, especially because I feel that, we often speak of God, but what about the goddess? What if, who's the ultimate creator is female, it's not male. So I got a bit stuck in there. So now I ask the universe, God, goddess alike, whatever it is, the ultimate power, to I express my gratitude, and then I ask for what I want. And I was on the Greenway walking back to Fiona and Tom there a few days ago, and I met these two women, Deirdre and her friend, and I didn't catch the friend's name. And we were chatting away, and they each gave me a fiver to go have some coffee, so they paid for my lunch later on in the day at Kilmeaden Station. And this woman, out of nowhere, she said, "Do you have a mantra?" And I said, "Yeah, actually, I do. I do." And it goes something like, open heart, open mind, please open the road before me and I will walk it. And then she said, I have a really good one to add to that, and that is, I can and I will. And she was kind of jokingly saying, I can and I will be different, and I can and I will walk to Jerusalem, and I can and I will. And I thought, yeah, she's absolutely right. So why did I say that now? Yeah, I wanted to tell you about that. So I was doing my little ritual about, I'd seen that the weather forecast was bad, and I went like, uh, you know, thank you very much, universe, God, goddess, whatever is out there, the ultimate power. Thank you so much for looking after me and making it possible for me to do what I do, to show me each day that it's important that I keep going, so that I don't go home, that I don't doubt what it is that I do. Thank you very much for, allowing me to do this and to be touched by the people who I meet, just as they are being touched by what I do. And I feel really, really grateful for that. And open heart, open mind, open, open, open heart, open mind. Please open the road before me so I can move on. And please, 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 you know, please let the weather be good. And thank you so, so much for this beautiful space where I could have some rest, and for allowing me to take that time to learn about making TikToks and to really feel inspired by nature and hearing the birds and seeing the skies and sitting in the grass and sipping tea. It was good. Thank you very much. But please don't let me get too wet today. So that was my little mantra now this morning as I walked out of the door. I tried to clean up as best as I could, and I knew, and I was feeling just so full again, like ready to move on. But the skies were like, I could see like the clouds were really, really low. The skies are really low, very grey. Lister, it's not Listerine, but it's the Listalin, something like that. Oh, here we go again, me with the place names, right? So I walked towards the village, and there was one of the women who was in the yoga class the other day, and she came by and she shouted at me, "Good luck with your trip," and I went, like, "Thank you very much." And Listalin, I think it is Listalin. And I walked into Listalin, and there's a little petrol shop with a little shop there, and I got bread, and I got like a little kid. Yeah, I didn't see cheese, so I got like, what was it? Like the stuff that kids eat on their sandwiches. This kind of oh, what's this called? Like onion and pork slices. Something. If you're a gourmand, you're not gonna like it. But kids bloody love it, and I thought, yeah, that's what I'll have. And I got lemon puffs because I love lemon puffs, and I got like sliced half a brown. It cost something like €3, not even €3. And the girl was kind of looking at me, and I have my rain gear on, and I've got the walking stick and the harp, and she's kind of looking, and I go like, yeah, I'm sorry, that's what happens when you take your friend for a walk. And she's kind of not having any of it. And I walk out, and I go like, oh, please, please don't let it be too wet. And literally, like, I could see like there was like a bright spot there, and I'm thinking, okay, keep your eye on the bright spot and just head that way. Let the road head that way all the time. And it did. It kind of did. And within an hour, it got a little bit wet, but nothing too serious. Not so serious that I got to try out my new waterproof trousers. And I headed up the hill. First stop Inisteg. So I head up the hill. I wasn't gonna go. The Leinster Way crosses um, just after the village, and I just kept following the road. It was an L road, so it was a nice walk. It was nice and quiet. It was very, very pretty. Like, and you're winding up and you're looking out over the valley, and I could see the old stone buildings, and then you see the new houses, and all the new houses are white or grey, and they're big and square. And then you look back down in the valley, and all the stone and wood. Just it's really, really beautiful. Like, the original buildings in Ireland are really, really stunning. Stunning. And when you think about it, all of that stone came out of the ground, like as they were plowing the land and putting the it's all natural materials. It's just amazing. And then you wind away, and you a good bit up, like, and then you come down into Inistigues. You have a little hill. There's the river. You cross the river. At Inistigues, you cross the river Nori, I think, which also heads towards Waterford. It's one of the three rivers that 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 comes together at in Waterford and goes into the sea, between Wexford and Waterford. It was just arriving there. Like, you go around the bend, and it's a Woodstock house, I think. And then Inistigues is like this adorable little village. But the whole countryside is really lovely. Like, Kilkenny is, this is how I remember it as well. I don't know if it has like an English feel to it. Inistigues kind of does as a village, but the farms don't. The farms around the between Listlin and Inistigues, they didn't. And there's like bluebells, and there's a little bit of there is the cuckoo. What is it? The cuckoos something. It's called, like, we call in Dutch. It is yeah, they're the flowers that grow after Easter. They only come up, and there's like really pale purple, like really, really pale. And I saw lilacs as well. Like, the lilacs are really early. Like, and I don't want to be funny, but like, lilacs usually they bloom in May, but it's the end of April, and there's a lot of lilacs out. But the weather has been really cold. I don't really understand how that works. And then what did I see? I saw rabbits, of course, again. What else did I see? I don't think I saw anything else. I saw some ladybirds as well today for the first time. And then Inistigues, yeah, you come to Woodstock House, and then you turn the corner, and then you see the River Nori, and you walk into the town. And I went to the Otter Bar because I had read that it's really, really friendly people and really lovely food. So I thought, really nice soup, and I thought, that's exactly what I want. I want soup and a sandwich. So I walk in there, and there's these two young lads, and there is like fishing boots, and the waiters are in the door, and they help me open the door so I can get in. And there's a fire burning, and there is this woman who cooks there, and she was telling me there was a homemade chicken broth, and there were sandwiches, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's perfect. And the woman behind the bar, she was saying, she was having chats with they were talking about the races, and that it was Ladies' Day, and the usual chat about gambling and stuff, about women and the races and whatnot. And there was a little boy, and I had the sandwich first, and then I had the soup, and the woman was telling me, the woman in the kitchen, she was telling me it was the recipe of her stepfather, who came from Bavaria. And of course, I've been working with this woman who was originally from Bavaria as well. So I sent her a photograph of the soup, and it was just the broth was bloody good. Like, it was really, really good. It was just what I needed, like, nice and salty. I could have done maybe with some chicken, but never mind. Like, there is nothing like broth that is made with whole chicken, just and boil it away and add your spices and your salt and a little bit of there was a bit of cauliflower in there, some carrots, and like all homemade. Takes a day to make. Like, yeah, really good. And then the sandwich as well. But the coffee machine was broken, so it was instant coffee. But I didn't mind. Like, and it's true. Like the woman behind the bar, she was hilarious. Like there was 80s music playing, and she was actually wearing like one of those 80s outfits, the kind of stuff that I like as well, like the thin trousers that are kind of loose with a print. And it was good. Now I didn't sit next to the fire, and I really didn't mind the instant coffee. And they were saying tomorrow they have music, and suddenly I realized it's a long weekend. No wonder I cannot find a place to stay anywhere, because long weekends are really, really busy. So, ding! Oh, sometimes I really am half a dollar short. Anyway, that was really good. And I was looking at the square and I'm thinking, oh, this is such a lovely little town. Like, it looks really, really cute. Oh, and the young ones with the waiters, they were about to go fishing, obviously, you know. And so I said to him, so what do you fish for? And he says, oh, trout, and there's salmon in there as well. There's actually still salmon in the nori. Who knew? Well, they obviously knew. And he showed me photographs of the trout that he had caught there. The first trout he caught was big, like it was a big fella, and then he had a little one. And I was thinking, I remember eating river trout in former Yugoslavia. That was a bizarre story as well. That was some adventure. That was some adventure. So, but as I had been sitting inside, it was raining again outside, and I'm thinking, oh no, not again, like because it had kind of dried up as I was halfway to Nishtig, and I had taken off my poncho and hung it over my bag. So I'm thinking, so I stuffed it back in and I'm going like, okay, no more rain then for today. Like I'm gonna chance it without like the Harp had rain gear on him, but no more for me. So that's what I did. Like I went out again and I took some photographs and then I walked down and I was thinking, yeah, it's really nice. And I read some other reviews from stuff around. Why are people so mean? Like these people are trying to do their best, and no, don't write mean reviews. Like if it's really bad, then just say, okay, that's not very nice. But I read something about the tables next to the river, and what I saw is that it's actually a private house where somebody was nice enough to put tables outside and make coffee and tea for people, and people were giving out about it. Like nonsense. That's just so unkind. Now the River Nori is beautiful, and that bridge is really nice, and you can see parts of the old weir. And lo and behold, yeah, there's a guy like in the waders in the river, and it made me think of my dad. I have a photograph of him on my phone, like that in the waders, holding a big salmon, and he was fishing for trout. This guy was fishing for trout. So I think, okay, no problem. I've got another 11 kilometers to go. Like I was in good time, and I'd spoken to uh, yesterday evening. The I had inquired about a B&B, and they had no place. Now they were too expensive for me anyway, but they had no space, and she was a bit odd. Like she was coughing and sneezing and stuff. All she had to say was, "I'm really sorry. I have no. Sorry for getting back late to you. There is no space." But that's not what she said. She was spluttering and saying all kinds of things about her throat and things. And then 10 minutes later, she goes like, after all of that, she goes like, "Oh, and we are full. Grand, no problem." And then I'd called a woman with a glamping site um, next to the river. She goes like, "Oh well, the tents aren't there yet." And I was talking to her. We had a good laugh, like we had a good laugh. And I said, well, maybe you know somebody else. And she said, there's another glamping space. But I had already spoken to Ken, and he had said, no, he had no place for me. But I'd said, even if you have two trees, that I can hang the hammock. It's just that I'm worried about the harp if the weather is bad. And if you can hear it, like it is like coming down in buckets at the moment. Like it's raining, raining, raining out there. And he goes like, sure, the the harp, we can get the harp safe, and I will see, can I come up with a solution. And I said, thank you very, very much. And then I spoke to this other lady, and she was like, no, 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 nothing. But a good laugh with her. And I was actually thinking today, I should give her a call in the morning and say, would she meet me for coffee? I think we could have a good laugh. And she sent me a text late last night saying, like, I'm back from Wexford. Did you find anywhere to stay? And I thought, that's really, really kind. Is this the one for this is it's foot cream? I don't need that. I don't need that. I think this is the one for scratches and bites. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for, because I'm like full of bites. Now then I went over the bridge, and then my map said that I should go straight ahead, and I'm happy out, like, and I see the sign for the Leinster Way, and I think, okay, well, after all, I end up a little bit on the Leinster Way as well. That's fine. I don't mind. Then I can say I've done that as well. And then I'm walking on, and I keep walking, and I meet Una and John. And John is asking me what I'm doing, and I'm telling them I'm on pilgrimage to Jerusalem, and he tells me he's walked the Lycian Way, or part of the Lycian Way. And I asked him, did he enjoy it, and how was it to walk in Turkey? And he said it was lovely. And he says, do you know what? It's about 12 kilometers from here, and it'll take you about 2.5 hours over the hill. And I walk on, and I'm thinking, why would he say that to me like that? And I'm thinking, I better check. Didn't I take the wrong turn again? Like, I took the wrong turn. So I ended up in the Leinster Way. And I'm thinking, oh, here we go again. Into the forestry we go. After all of that, to get away from it and to head for the Barrow Way, and I end up in the forestry again. Turns out that part, coming out of Inistioge, you go up the hill, and it follows a road, and then it goes onto an old stone road. It was just stunning, and you've all these wonderful views. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, okay, well, if this is what is, it smells so good. Deborah Davies is your star, like. And I'm looking at it and going, that's really nice. And then I see a woman and two men, and they're herding like a flock of sheep from one field into another field. And so I stop. We have a bit of a chat, and one of the farmers tells me, like, oh, I'm not the only one. Like, 2 years ago or last year, there was a guy also from Cork who was walking to Jerusalem. And I'm thinking, darn, I'm not the only one. And as we're talking, this one sheep, like really handsome looking sheep, comes up, and he nudges the one, and he gets petted, and then he nudges the next farmer, and he gets petted, and then he nudges the woman, and she goes, oh, hello there, gorgeous. And I said, oh, that's a really beautiful sheep. And she goes, isn't he just wonderful? And she says to the sheep, would you like to go to Jerusalem? And I say, yeah, you should come with me. But he looked exactly like the lamb you always see, like, the lamb god that take away the Agnus Dei. So the sacrificial lamb. I said, but maybe you shouldn't want to come, because there's a sacrificial lamb. And this makes me think about something else that happened as I walked into Inistioge. I was walking down the hill towards the river, and there's this car passes me and stops in front of a house, and the boy gets out, and he comes back out with the Kilkenny flag for probably a GAA game. And I say, how you doing? And he goes, hi. And then the dad, or whoever was driving, opens the window, and he says, are you going to go to Monaghan today? And I said, no, not really, nearly as far. I'm heading for Jerusalem. And he goes like, oh yeah, no, then we can't give you a lift. We can't give you a lift. That really made me smile. I know it sounds really weird now. It was very funny when it happened. I was actually chuckling out loud. I think there were people looking from behind their curtains, looking at me, going like, what's up with her? So the sheep, and she goes like, oh no, you cannot take my sheep. You cannot take my sheep. And I want to have the sacrificial lamb. So, and then the road turned into forestry, and it wound on up and down a little bit. And then I thought, oh, after an hour and a half or something of that, I went like, oh yeah, well, I've had enough of that now. And there was a turn. I saw a gate, and I thought maybe that's going back to the road, and it did. So I took that one, and it was still 6.2 kilometers. And then when it was only an hour away, I left a message for Ken saying like, I'll be there in an hour. And he said, I probably won't be there because I'll be for dinner. And I said, don't worry, I'll be there for the evening. And he said, go be in the lounge area because there's couches there and there's not that many people around. So, and I'll be back at around 7. So I did. I put everything in the lounge area when I arrived. Now I have to say, coming down the last hill, oh, my feet, like the feet, it's hard on them. You know, coming down is always hard on all feet. I don't know how these mountain walkers do it. I don't know if you ever really get used to it. But I was going slow, like. So I arrived a little bit later. I actually didn't do too bad. I arrived at around 5:30, but that last bit I was going very slow. The last, and then going uphill I was going faster than going downhill. It does something. I think what I do is I grip with my toes. So I really have to think about relaxing the toes so that you can really roll as you're going down, that you really roll. And I just do like this, and then you start hitting your toes off, through the shoe on the tire. It's not a nice feeling. And then there was a woman, and she stopped and she said, did I want to lift? And I said, no, my thing is walking. And she goes like, I thought so, but I want to offer you a lift anyway. And I was like, you're very, very kind, but no, thank you. So I arrived, and I put everything down, and I thought, okay, let's go eat first. And I had some of my bread with my pork and tomato slices, and I ate most of my lemon puffs. I've got a few left. I'm gonna have them now before I go brush my teeth. And yeah, and I was in the kitchen eating because I didn't want to eat in the lounge area because that's just rude, because that's where people sit, right? And then these kids came in and they were cooking, and the mother came in, and we got chatting, and I was saying, she asked me where was I going, and I said, I'm following the Barrow Way, and what's your end destination, where you're from? And then of course, again, I'm a pilgrim to Jerusalem. And she goes like, one of her daughters and herself, they want to go do the Camino. And I said, oh, you should, like, and when you do, like, if you can at all, just do the whole thing, or even start a little bit before, because then when you come to the Pyrenees, you've already done a little bit of walking. And then after a while, and because I'd said I was walking with a Harper, I said, okay, you know, I know you want to see the harp. And we're like, yeah, we really do. And one of the girls was playing fiddle, so, or piano, and the mother was learning fiddle. I'd been learning fiddle and was doing, doing the group lessons and stuff. And so played a few. How does that happen though? Because then I'm playing, and then I only play a song and a tune, and that's enough. Then like I happily play for an hour, but it seems to be enough to just do one or two tunes, and then people are happy, and kind of go, okay. So we were chatting away. It was really lovely chatting, and then I could hear that Ken had arrived. So I said, I better go. Like, and if if you want to have a go at the harp, you should come back like early in the morning because I'm going to try and leave early enough. And then with Ken, the same thing happened. Like we're chatting away, chatting away, chatting away. And then he said, do you know what? I actually think, because I was going to sleep in the lounge area, which is a public area, he said, I can set you up, you can stay there, then at least you're dry. I said, thank you very, very, very much, because that's all really that I needed. Just to have the harp dry, right? Yeah. You see, he's happier that way. So, and then he goes, there is a cabin, but there's like extra mattresses in there. And so maybe I haven't really looked at it. And then he came back after a few minutes and he said, sure, Grant, you can be in there. Like, I put on the heater, I put on the light, and you can just sleep there. And I was like, I'm already really grateful for what you're doing for me, because I know the camping is really busy. Like there's lots of motorhomes, and then he has the glamping pods, and there's people in there as well. And he was like, no, 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 no. I insist. And I was like, okay, well, what do I owe you? And he goes like, no, 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 no. I insist. Just spread the love. So, yeah. So here I am, like in the Brandon Brandon Hill camping site, and I'm inside, and I've got like a fancy lamp and heating and electricity and a mattress and a bed, and I mean, wow. And I said, well, are you sure there's nothing I can do? And he said, you can play a tune for my daughter. So his wife and daughter came out, and we had another good heart to heart about pilgrimages and what that means. And like this time around, lots of people seem to be asking me, is it spiritual? Is it religious? It's not so much anymore. It used to always be like, aren't you afraid? But I think that it's really obvious that I'm not afraid. Like, I'm not afraid. I'm just not afraid. I'm not scared of taking on the journey. Like, the courage I've got, and I've got the mental capacity to take on a journey like this. But the thing this time around seems to be about, is it then a spiritual journey? Are you very religious? And the answer still is, no, I'm not very religious. Maybe I am. And the truth is, I don't really know. So, yes, they have definitely, this journey has a spiritual element. Like, and yes, I'm going out of my way to engage with churchy things, like to engage with religious orders, because I'm dealing with my prejudices, and I have prejudice against the church as an institution. But the church is the people, right? That includes me. Like, I was baptized, so I am part of that family. And yeah, I can question what the institution does, but in the meantime, as part of that church, or part of the Christian community, if you like, I have every right to participate in stuff that has stuff to do with it. I'm fascinated with that people all uh, want to head to these destinations. The church is shrinking in Europe, and I've watched it. I've seen it with my own eyes. France has many churches where there's no mass set at all anymore. In Ireland, there's a lot of churches that don't have mass every week. There is less and less priests. The religious orders are shrinking. Like, there's less vocations. Funny enough, there's more and more people walking pilgrimages. There's thousands of people on the road at this moment in time. I'm following this woman, Sue Bratton, on Twitter, and she was saying, like, it was scary. Like, the hostelos were so full, like, and people with colds, sneezing and coughing. COVID pandemic may be kind of over in this part of the world, but are you really willingly going to like lie around in Ostello with like another 25 people sneezing? Not so sure. Then, but I say not so sure, and yet there is loads of people that go walk Camino, and they walk Camino, and they walk Camino again, and they walk Camino again, and again, and again, and again, and they approach the same thing, like Santiago Compostela is the pilgrimage of courage. So when I walked Camino, I came to the conclusion at the end of it that I already had courage. I have loads of courage. I'm a very courageous person. I just am. I didn't have to really find it, but I had to find out that I had it. I don't really feel the need to keep going over it, and yet loads of people do. Loads of people keep walking Camino. They go back every year as often as they can. I know people that go twice a year. How often do you need to find your courage? Or is this like a thing that is not being fulfilled anymore? So by taking away church life and community, like church communities, so when we started focusing just on the institution of church, we also took away the community of church, and yet that is what people go for when they walk Camino. They talk about the Camino spirit and the community of Camino walkers, and yeah, to an extent that is true, but like, well, we all know what I think about, people who go for 2 weeks a year. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I think it is like a watered down substitute of what pilgrimage can really be. I've gone away from this idea that you shouldn't do it then, like that everybody like that was my arrogance was going like, well, if you can only do 2 weeks, then don't go. That's arrogant on my point, because not everybody is that free. Not everybody can find that freedom, and not everybody is that courageous. And we all have different lessons to learn. But I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated that by the because these are figures, like these are just facts. There's more people walking pilgrimage now than when people were going to church. You know, there's still a lot of churchgoers that climb into buses and onto airplanes and go to holy places and go on pilgrimage to visit the holy sites. But more and more non-believers go and walk pilgrimages, which is like an act of devotion. Like it's like, call me crazy. I'm fascinated. Like I'm fascinated by this. And then you get people like me, and there's a good few others that engage with the entire act of pilgrimage. Like and obviously I when I went to Rome, I went to a Met, and I was really, really touched by Saint Benoit de Labre, who says that pilgrimage is an act of devotion. It's something that if you cannot find your place within the church, pilgrimage can replace that. And he, of course, is like most likely mentally ill. He isn't well, and that's what he does. He walks pilgrimage, and I'm exactly the same. Like I just keep walking more routes and bigger routes, and Rome, pilgrimage of the head, pilgrimage of the expression of the understanding of what church is and what devotion is and what devoutness is and what church is. And now I'm on a journey, the journey of the soul, the pilgrimage of the soul to Jerusalem, when all bets are off. And all bets are off, because nobody knows even whether it's possible. I know there's people who go like, yeah, I've set it all out, I've got the money, and you go to the bottom of Italy, you take your boat and you go to Israel. And that is the pilgrimage to Jerusalem for sure. But I want to go like I always go, overland by foot. So we'll see. Does that really change me? Then will it really change me? I think the previous pilgrimages have changed me. I've become a better person for it. So is that the new expression then of religion? Am I religious? Am I spiritual? Am I religious? Am I part of that group. I don't know, like, but all of that, we talked about all of it. And now I'm here in my cabin, and I was given this as another gift, another sign of that I'm on the right path, because I just read the signs, right? I just read the signs to see if the road is open, and if the road is open, I will walk it. And then once I got the cabin, it started raining, and now it's raining really hard. And tomorrow it looks like it won't rain in the morning, but it will start raining in the afternoon, and it'll be pretty hard raining by 7 or 8 in the evening, and then it'll stop again. And I've got about 23, 24 kilometers to walk, and there's no bed at the end of it. And then there would be another 5 kilometers, and there could be a bed, but it's really, really expensive. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I don't know how I feel about it. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to go get up, and I'm going to go see Dushka Abbey, which has I found it on the map, and it has, the roof is held up by a structure which is held together by dowels instead of nails. There you go. So that's my story for today. I'm safe. I'm in a good space. I feel really strong. I feel really happy. I feel a little bit emotional now. Because this is the Pilgrim's groove, right, for me. This is it. It's when I'm asking these questions and when I'm thinking about these things. So there you go. Tomorrow is another day. This is day 30 of From Here to Rome. Mom, Sartya, Otti, my brother, I love you all very much. Today I was thinking about people like Mary Mulcahy Fowle, who's been very, very kind to me, and I know she struggles. The other people that came up who I was thinking about is my friend Kathy Sharma, who's fallen and has hurt herself and is trying to recover from that. And also the children of the Cash family, the Cashes, the youngsters of the Cashes. I was thinking about them, and I was thinking about Muriel Kelly as well, who's in hospital at the moment, I believe. And I don't know why. I often don't think about people, but I was thinking about all those spirits who have helped me along, and how blessed I am, and how wrong it can go, and how we are all challenged in different ways. Like, my challenge right now is the weather. I've finally gotten to the flat. I'll be on the flat from tomorrow. So I'll have to see how far I can get on the flat. And if I don't get very far, I'll just have to stop. I've got a bed in Carlo, and I've got a bed in Athy, and both for 1 or 2 days if I want to. And I was hoping to plan a bit more tonight, but with all the talking, that didn't happen. So I might try and get up early and do a bit of work on that. Thank you so much for being here with me. And tomorrow is another day. This was day 30 of From Here to Jerusalem. I'm Anya, that's Sean the Harp. And together we are the Flatting Harper. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Good night. Good night.